Hey, so my face is kind of huge right now, and well, I'm gonna talk while I find something, so my attention will be over here. I'll be looking over here, but I'm still talking. So, I mentioned community in my last video about Songza, and I wanted to go into it more. This is gonna sound a little bit more like a tribute, 'cause it really is. Here, let me find this first, this playlist, and then I'll continue on. I think this is it. Okay. Play. I think so. I'll turn this down. I'm gonna continue, or just give me a few more seconds. So, this is gonna sound like a tribute, because in a way it is, because I'm going to share with something new really quickly, and I'm hoping I don't really touch on it a lot, because it's kind of embarrassing for me, and personal, and a lot of people are gonna laugh at me for it, but, you know, no, I'm going to tell you a quick little story about why community helped me out a lot while I was kind of going through something. It's not really that bad or horrible as far as the world's view goes, but it was really bad for me. So, turn that down. Community was this TV show, and so about last year, or I can't even remember how many years ago it was, I think last year, when around the time that the guy who was on bath salts and ate the other guy's face, news was like coming around, and I heard about it. I had no idea about this beforehand. Here, let me sit up. So, I hadn't heard about this before. I hadn't heard of bath salts, or that drug, or anything else like that. But people are all like, oh, it's a zombie apocalypse and shit like that. That's all I heard. I heard from other people's mouths, which in retrospect has never been a good thing. And it never is a good thing, but I still managed to listen only to people when looking for information. And people like my friends who barely know more than me. And it's gotten me some real crap in the past, so no. And I had heard of zombies, obviously. Zombies, they terrify me. That whole new weird stuff where the world ends and zombies, it terrifies me. Beyond recognition. I get so scared. It makes me want to cry when I think about that. Like, people consider that a possibility, and it just makes me terrified for my life. And people are like, oh, it's not going to happen, I'm just joking. But some part of me is really paranoid. When I get paranoid or afraid, I get really, really terrified. So when this thing came around, it was, I think, on the weekend, or on a break. That entire weekend, I could barely go to sleep. I was hearing things like, you know, when you hear the wind outside, well, I kept thinking zombies were shuffling towards my house. And I'm not even kidding you. I was crying. It was so bad. And I still heard things from people. And during the day, I tried to act normal. But for a good week, I was checking over my shoulder every second. And I was afraid when I go to school for my sister and brother. I went to a park with my sister and brother and my mom at the splash park in town, and my brother went around, and I was freaking out on my mom right there and then. I was yelling at her. I was like, where is my brother? Because I was afraid that he was being eaten by someone on bath salts. Because I had no idea what the drug was, and someone, I'm not going to release who, told me that it made you want to eat people, specifically. I was terrified. I was like terrified out of my mind and so paranoid, which is some of my it's like a really bad thing for me. When I get paranoid, I am paranoid. And overnight was the worst because everyone's asleep and I'm alone. And I'd be sitting there in like a bedroom. I'd kind of sleep wherever in the house. So either on the couch or like, I don't know. And my brother sleeps with my mom. Shh, don't tell him I told anyone that. But, so he has a TV in his room with Xbox Live and Netflix. So I go in there and watch like TV and stuff like that. And I was sitting on the bed and I had not gone to sleep yet and it was 4 in the morning. I couldn't go to sleep. I was beyond recognition as far as terrifying goes. And so then 1 minute.